Hi traders, and welcome to the weekly market review where I use wave analysis to look at the charts to see where price might be headed. I'm going to look at the S&P, the Nasdaq, and some select stocks. So with that, let's get started. All right, going to start with the upcoming economic calendar. And we're actually going to start with today because with the market closed, PCE did come out this morning and 0.2% down from last month, in line with what they were expecting, 0.3%. And when we look at the price index, that dropped 0.1%, but year over year it actually has increased 0.1%. So I think that's going to be kind of muted as far as the market is concerned and their reaction to this. I know there was a lot of anticipation of was PCE going to rise for the third month in a row now. So I think that won't make the market sell off. I don't think it'll also go crazy either. So we'll look at the rest of the data for next week. On Monday, you have manufacturing PMI. Tuesday, JOLTS job openings. Also have a lot of Fed speakers. Wednesday, ADP employment change. You got the ISM services PMI. Powell is speaking. He spoke today. He's speaking again on Wednesday. So I don't expect much from him to change people's view. I think everyone knows where he's standing. And then on Friday, non-farm payrolls. So a lot of big data points. Non-farm payrolls actually expecting a drop. That'll be interesting to see how the market reacts to that. So the previous was 275, and they're expecting like about 200,000 now. So still, still an increase in jobs, but kind of significant drop off there. So, all right, let's get on to the charts. All right, going to start with the S&P. This is the futures contract. And definitely looks like the 4 is in. And now we're heading up for the fifth wave. And they've come right into this zone here that I think should hold and going up. Looking for a 3-wave move. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let me draw that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should be getting a correction. I think this area will hold. They could drop it a little bit farther down, but I would think that this is just going to be A, the B, and we got one more up for the C wave. And that'll end this fifth of the fifth wave. All right, so I think, especially based on what happened with the PCE, I was really curious to see if that was going to make this market drop maybe one more for the 4 before they would finally go. But I think because that was kind of a muted report, I think it'll just kind of somewhere in this range here, like 5,300 maybe down. That'd be about the lowest, I think. And then start heading up to break that 53.22 high. And when we look at the Nasdaq, pretty much the same thing. Now the Nasdaq has a lot more to go up than the S&P. And this, I thought they were going to be making a diagonal. So I thought that was 1, that was 2, that was 3. I thought they were going to come down here for like a 4 and then go up for the 5 and then correct and then still one more up. But that pattern changed this week when they made this just huge sideways movement. Now, so far, I just see this as a 3-wave move. So now I got this labeled as W. So this is just a 3-wave move for W. And I think this is just 3 waves for X. They could actually drop it down one more time under this 18,378. And it'd be a triple combination correction. Doesn't really matter. But then the X would just be sliding over here. I don't... Like I said, there is 3 waves, so that could be the 5th wave for the Nasdaq. And when we look at some of the other stocks, we'll see what I'm seeing. It's either, I mean, obviously if they do break down here, 18.5, then this whole thing is done and there's a bigger correction underway. But I think that they got one more up. Like I said, I think the W and this is X. They might break this low one more time because this is really choppy. Yeah, I mean it's not going up very impulsively, and not unless they're making just a real slow diagonal, and like that's one, and this is all going to be two, and then they reverse it for 3, 4, and a 5. There is a good possibility that they do just a quick spike down here one more time and then reverse. So that's what I favor for the Nasdaq. So then this would just be the WXY, go out to the 1 hour, and this would end that fifth wave. This target out here, it might not get hit. So I got this sitting at 1973. I don't know if they're going to get that high, but we'll see. So for the Nasdaq, I'd still only be looking for buy setups for just one more up, but I think you're kind of playing on borrowed time. I think you got limited upside when you got a whole lot of downside. So got to be really careful if you're going to be buying here, because it could be, like I said, that what I got labeled W, that actually could be it, but I'm still favoring just one more up. And then when we look at some of our stocks that we've been monitoring, so if we look at AMD still just hovering down here. I'm waiting for this invalidation point to break, and that will confirm that this fifth wave is complete. And I think it is, even though I do, you could kind of see it's kind of starting to get a little roundy down here. So they came down here. That's why I expect this to correct, but it'd be just a correction, and then reverse. So when the Nasdaq and S&P go and break their high, AMD will get a bump up, but that's all it'll be. It's just a little bit up, and I don't think they'll be breaking this top anymore. Well, not in the next weeks anyway. So I think 227 is a temporary high, and there's a correction underway. And when we look at now Nvidia, this one's really, it's got me a little baffled, I gotta say. So as I've been saying, I think this is just a 3-wave move up. And I'm looking for 5 waves for this fifth wave. And so I'm thinking that this is one. And like I said last week, I thought they were going to come down last week, and they kept pushing it up, almost broke the high, and then they did a big sell-off on Friday. Or on Wednesday. So I thought they would come down into this 800 range, somewhere down here. But if they do that, and that's 2, and this is going up, it just seems odd that Nvidia is going to still go up for a 3, and then correct for 4, and then still go up for a 5. If the whole market is going to be starting to, the index anyway, the Nasdaq is going to be reaching its near-term high. So I'm just wondering if somehow I got this labeled wrong, and somehow the fifth wave is in. So just like with the indexes, Nvidia is at a tricky spot. I think there's still more up, but you got to be careful, because there could be like a really, really big correction coming. Whether it'll come, but I just don't know. Obviously, if 662 breaks, then the correction has already started, but that's a huge drop already just to get down there. So Nvidia's got me a little confused. I think there's more up, but it seems like it'd be almost going against what the Nasdaq might be doing. So Nasdaq, Nvidia got to be careful with. Microsoft, I think it's in a good zone, just like the Nasdaq. I think is in that zone where it's got its last push up for its fifth wave. So that one I feel good about, that it's got one last leg up, which kind of supports the Nasdaq theory. And when we look at Google, just hovering up here. I think it's got to go break its high one more time, and then we'll be able to figure out what this whole pattern is. Because this also, like I said, that could be one, and that's two, and that's three, four, and now they're going to go up for five. Or this could be a huge ending diagonal where that's just one, and that's two, and then they're going to go up for three, correct for four, and then still one more up for five. So Google's pattern is a little messy to figure out right now, but definitely think that they got to break 153 at least one more time. So between Google and Microsoft, I definitely think the Nasdaq has more up to go. Nvidia is a little tricky one, because I almost feel like Nvidia's got a lot more to go. So just gonna have to play this. I wouldn't be buying here Nvidia. If they do come down into the 800s, low 800s, that's where I'd be looking to take a stab for a buy. But you just got to know that if it really starts to accelerate to the downside, that we could be underway for a really big correction. All right, that's what I see on the markets. Hope it helps. Thanks for your likes and support. Good luck. I'll see you in the next video.